Hey, this is Janice Franklin, aka the Child Support Concierge, and I just wanted to talk to you real quick and discuss 5 common complaints that I hear in regards to child support. So, number one, misuse of funds. So, I get a lot of people that are like, oh, well, I'm paying all this money in child support and my child, and she's not spending that money on the child. She's going out and stamping the passport and getting her nails and hair done and all this and that. So the government purposely doesn't want to track how child support is paid. Why? Because that is just such an intensive thing. It's going to cost them a lot of money to be able to monitor that, even though it's possible that could happen, especially with your boy Biden in office. But when somebody talks about the misuse of funds and child support or whatever, until such time that the federal government says that child support has to explicitly be used for child expenses, and they actually provide that support in such a way that it's automatically tracked, then that's not something that's going to happen. Also, if a parent has a child in their household, then whatever money that they have in their household that's paying for rent and food and to clothe that child, your child support is reimbursing them for that. So what you could do is think about it as, yeah, this is my monetary contribution to the household that my child resides in until such time as that they're in my household. Then you can either choose to do the same. You can, of course, open a case against the other parent once you have the child, or once you have the child in your home, you'll also be able to experience what it's like to have those expenses. Now, a lot of people do have other children in their household, so they know, which is also their argument about child support. But it's a different argument about child support, I should say. But again, the misuse of funds is a common complaint, but again, there's nothing you can do about it right now because the federal government is not going to put in the time and resources it will take in order to create a system or monitor and run a system that will be responsible for making sure child support is only used for child expenses. So the next one, no money, no visitation. So I find that a lot of people do this or believe that this is a okay thing to do, and for some reason I don't understand why they don't associate the fact that you are in essence putting a price tag on the child, meaning that you're telling the other parent that in order for you to be a parent you have to pay me this amount, and if not, then I'm not gonna let you in my child's life. Now let me ask, how much did they have to pay to sleep with you in order to make that child? Did they have any say in that? Like, I don't understand how anyone can justify keeping a child from seeing a parent just because of a monetary obligation not being paid. Like, last time I checked, parents with children, they don't get paychecks for being parents. So again, you shouldn't, there's no reason why and I mean that in the sense of, if you are a mother and you have your child, there is no authority that is giving you money for that child. I mean, you still had to pay the hospital bill for giving birth to that child. You still have to pay, for the shots and all the food and everything that goes along with that child. You're not, they not reimbursing you. They ain't making your shit tight again. They ain't doing none of that. So why would you do that to the other parent? Also, I feel like, that's some shit you should have talked about before you had the baby. Like, if you're sleeping with somebody and on the strength that you could become pregnant and then Like that's some negotiation shit that should happen from the jump. Like that is not some shit you wait till you have the baby and then you wait till some shit pop off and y'all not vibing no more, and then when y'all break up, then you want to be like, okay, now you got to pay me to be a parent. Like what kind of shit is that? So yeah, no, I'm gonna need that complaint and that type of behavior to just stop ASAP, because y'all don't even realize how many fucking children you're fucking up doing that shit. Now, 50-50 custody means that there should be no money. So 50-50 custody is supposed to mean that 50% of the time a child is with one parent, 50% of the time the child is with another parent. So on paper, yeah, that sounds straightforward. It sounds fine. But in all actuality, no, because 50-50 custody really means, yeah, you guys have like the same amount of time with the child, but depending on how you guys are parenting together, how you guys interact with each other, that can take on a whole different thing. And I mean, depending on the terms and your visitation, your custody agreements and all that, it can be definitely a whole big mess. Now, in my opinion, I think 50-50 custody should be automatic upon a breakup. And the reason why there shouldn't be any child support exchanged is because each parent has the child 50% of the time. So as long as you're financially responsible for your household and can take care of the child while they are in your custody, then there should be no reason why the other parent should have to help you. Like, y'all should both be able to take care of the child anytime. So with 50-50, you know what to do when the child is with you, just like you know what to do when the child's not with you. Like, that's how it should work. But again, whole bunch of terms and conditions and a whole bunch of other shit that can be in those custody agreements, so you really have to read. And then it also comes back to enforcing those types of agreements, you know, because if your motives and priorities are in the wrong place, regardless of 50-50, that doesn't mean that that's actually what's happening. On paper, it may say 50-50, but what happens in reality can be a whole completely different thing. And I think anybody that is a parent listening to this knows that. So, third one, other people taking care of the child versus the parent. So, if you are a parent and you are also working a job or doing something to make money in order to care for your household, that may mean that there are times that you're going to have to be away from your child. That could also happen outside of school times, especially in, plus let's not forget we're dealing with a pandemic, so a lot of people are forced to homeschool their kids and that type of thing. So if you do have that job and you do have, you know, those other responsibilities that you have to look into in order to make sure you have the financial means to take care of that child and your household, then that may mean you're going to need some help. Whether it's a relative, whether it's daycare, it's gonna be needed. Now, if you're the other parent and you have the time and ability to take care of your child during these times or whatever, then there should be no reason why a babysitter, a relative, or a daycare should have to take care of your child when you are available and able, period. So before we start talking about, oh, there's other people taking care of my child, why aren't you? Now, if the reason why you aren't is because the parent with the child not letting you, whether it's because they're not paying, whether it's because they in their feelings and they being spiteful, or it could be because they don't trust your ability as a parent, then there's some of that you can deal with, some of that you can't. Everybody has legal rights. You can go to court or whatever. But again, if you are able to take care of your child so that no one else has to take care of your child, then that's something you need to be pursuing. And hopefully, if you guys can be two grown adults, that's something you can talk about and work out. My brother actually told me about an example between two separated parents. One was a hairstylist and one was a barber. And they were able to create their situation where their schedules alternated. So that way the child was with dad in the daytime, and then at nighttime, mom would get off and dad would go to work. Like, see how they work that shit out? Like they were able to complement each other, and they're still there for their kids. They ain't got no outside influence, and their kid, man, if that kid don't own some barbershops and hair salons when they get older because of that, like, come on. But anyway, also with that, if you are the parent with the child, you don't have to be daycare and all that. You don't have to, go outside of the other parent all the time. I mean, that's the other parent. You don't even have to pay them. You don't have to pay the other parent to watch their kid. It's y'all kid. So that's something that you definitely can explore. Now, if it's because you don't trust their abilities to properly take care of the child, that could be a conversation. That could be like, yo, let me show you what our child's nightly routine is. Let me show you what she's studying or what they're studying in school, so that way you can determine whether or not you know that you can help them with their homework. Like, y'all can do some parenting classes. Like, there's those kind of things I feel like are conversations, and that if you really communicate, you could help the other parent learn those things, and they become a better parent, and you both become better parents together. But again, a lot of times people are in their feelings and they spiteful and they doing some other shit, and they not even open to that. So now let me go into the final one. They remarried and got more money now, so they should be paying more. So one thing I need people to remember is that if you have a child support order and it's against you and the other parent, regardless of if that other parent remarries, has another family or whatever, that doesn't mean that child support order is against their spouse and against at all. Just like if you are the parent with the child and you remarry, the financial responsibility of that other child doesn't necessarily become your, just because you remarried doesn't mean that they just replace the other parent. Like, that's not how this goes. Both of you as parents and adults, hopefully you do heal from this breakup and you're able to move on and have healthy, loving relationships with other people, other romantic relationships with other people in the future. However, that is outside of your parenting bond. So if your spouses ain't willing to deal with that shit or can't understand, then you really need to assess that before they become your spouse. Because no, like, you can't let the outsider step in between the parent-child situation, because you guys are a family, and now you're extending that family by incorporating a new spouse and maybe stepchildren and that type of thing. Like, you're extending the family. You're not just creating a whole new family or whatever, because your family still exists. Now you're adding to it. It's not subtracting or anything, taking away, replacing. No, it's all supposed to be added in together. That means more people to love your kid. You know what I'm saying? So again, that obligation isn't against that other parent. So that their income, whatever is going on with them financially, is not your business. Only thing you need to be focused on is what you're doing to maintain your household and that type of thing. So again, 5 common complaints about child support. The parent with the child is misusing the funds. The parent that is outside of the home is not paying, therefore they can't see their child. We have 50-50 custody, so that means I shouldn't be paying child support. Other people are taking care of my child, not that parent, so therefore I shouldn't be paying child support. And the last one is, they are remarried and now have more money, so they should be paying more, or I shouldn't have to pay anything. So I hope this cleared that up. If you're still confused, if you still feel like, I don't know, I can't feel it, Janice, like I just feel like, we can talk it out. soon I'm going to be hosting the child support hotline on my YouTube channel, so definitely stay tuned for that. You can always DM me a question that you have about child support and I will answer it live, and I will definitely shout you out if I ask your question. So stay tuned. I'm definitely going to be getting my Patreon up and definitely like listing my services and that type of thing. So soon you'll be able to click the link in the bio and access everything. So you can click the link now and check out what's going on. And if you want to schedule a status check, you can do that. Check out my book, The Spy Inside Child Support Cheat Codes. Purchase that in the link in the bio as well. So as always, support your children and save your wallet.